This video of the POCO F6 Pro is brought to you in partnership with AliExpress. The term flagship killer tends to be used and thrown around a lot more than it should. But in the case of the POCO F6 Pro, I honestly think it's way more deserving of that title. So let me give you the breakdown of why this is. If you've not been on my channel before and this is your first time, then a quick introduction for me. My name is Ben from Lover of Tech. Now, especially in the year of 2024, I tend to actually focus a lot of my smartphone-based content on comparisons, testing out things you care about, like battery performance when it comes to drain and charging, camera tests, and performance when it comes to speed. Which means doing videos like this is not something I usually get a chance to do on a regular basis. So when AliExpress actually reached out and said, hey, we've got a POCO F6 Pro on hand for you to test and showcase, I couldn't say no, because this phone is packing a lot for the price that more than screams flagship, but actually the price tag shows more mid-range to upper mid-range and touches on the key things I test and care about in a flagship phone. But before we get into it, let me tell you about what's happening with AliExpress and why you want to be shopping with them when looking for your next smartphone. Now, AliExpress is an online e-commerce retail service which offers great value with competitive prices on over 100 million items. They ship worldwide to over 200 plus countries and regions globally, with 12 languages available on their website. When browsing and shopping, safe payment with the world's most popular and secure payment methods backed with buyer's protection, around-the-clock assistance for a smooth shopping experience, and even access to an iOS and Android app for even smoother and easier shopping on the go. With AliExpress's Summer Sale happening on the 17th of June to the 23rd of June 2024, and the availability to stock products like the POCO F6 Pro and more to ship globally, you can find thousands of products on AliExpress with fast delivery in no time. Plus, you can use my exclusive discount codes to get huge discounts on your next order. So check the links in the description below, and thank you to AliExpress for sponsoring this video. Let's run through my top 3 features on the POCO F6 Pro and why it makes a strong case for being called a true flagship killer in 2024. First off is the performance and specifications. The POCO F6 Pro is powered by the Snapdragon 8 Gen 2 and starts with 12GB of RAM and 256GB of storage. What's even crazy is that there's a max storage model that goes all the way up to 1TB with 16GB of RAM to go with it, alongside a 512GB model with storage and 12GB of RAM. Needless to say, the performance and storage is not lacking when it comes to the amount of options you have here on the POCO F6 Pro. Now, some may say the Snapdragon 8 Gen 2 is a previous generation chipset, but it's still no slouch when it comes to performance for day-to-day tasks, and even taking it up to the extreme for things like high-end gaming without compromising on efficiency. That aside, you have to also consider the MSRP price of the POCO F6 Pro, which starts at £499 for the base model and up to £599. Again, that's MSRP, and no doubt, if you order it from AliExpress, as mentioned before, especially with their summer sale coming up and using my discount code, you can definitely get it cheaper, making it even better value, which, let's be honest, it already was. As someone that values good specifications, I really like how POCO made use of the best they could, from having LPDDR5X RAM to fast UFS 4.0 storage, which makes a world of a difference when it comes to loading apps and multitasking, alongside the performance that comes with the chipset. Speaking of the chipset performance of the Snapdragon 8 Gen 2, another thing I really appreciate about what POCO did with the F6 Pro is the care given to making sure thermal management for maximum sustained performance is given to the F6 Pro. And it's all down to what they call their liquid cool technology 4.0. This is actually using their 4th generation vapor chamber cooling system, enabling highly effective heat dissipation, giving you great sustained performance while keeping your device cool. I could go on and on about the performance of the POCO F6 Pro just on its own, but then you have to actually remember the price, and it makes it even better and worth the title of a true flagship killer in 2024. Now, if there's one area of a smartphone experience I care about the most, and also I'm probably well known for on my channel, is definitely the battery experience when it comes to the battery life, battery health, and also battery charging speeds. And let me tell you, POCO nails it when it comes to this department on the POCO F6 Pro. The POCO F6 Pro is packing a massive 5,000 mAh battery and supports a crazy 120 watt wired hypercharging, which comes included in the box with the supported plug and cable at no extra cost. Now, what's crazy is that POCO rates full charging in approximately 19 minutes. So That alone takes away the worry of ever needing to charge your phone overnight. Again, such battery and charging is something you would be expecting to pay way more for alongside the performance and the specifications, but actually, this more than proves the value of the F6 Pro being a flagship killer, because those higher end, more expensive phones don't even come with a charger in the box, and some don't even come with a charger and a cable at all. And even going further, the battery capacity is probably not as big or as well optimized to last as long as the F6 Pro. And you have to take into consideration how much quicker the F6 Pro will recharge 100% when you're out of juice. If not live already, then definitely check my extreme battery drain test video on the POCO F6 Pro to see how well the battery does against more expensive flagship class phones. And it will actually make you wonder, is it even worth having to spend so much more when the battery and the performance is this good on the F6 Pro, considering the asking price? Front and center is the display, and I honestly thought if there was one area POCO were going to hold back when it comes to the F6 Pro, it was definitely going to be here. And indeed, I was absolutely wrong in thinking that, because it's got it all and then some. First part that surprised me about the display experience on the POCO F6 Pro is the resolution. It's packing a WQHD plus resolution with a 3200 by 1440p resolution, a 20:9 aspect ratio in a 6.67 inch display size. Now, having a 1440p display at this price point and still using an OLED panel is crazy to me. And on top of that, you still get 120Hz high refresh rate and support for Dolby Vision and HDR10+. That would have been enough to impress me, but they didn't stop there, because they made sure to implement professional level eye protection when viewing the display with a 3840Hz PWM feature for flicker-free viewing experience for less eye strain. That should be it, but nope, there is more. You get an in-display fingerprint sensor for fast and secure biometric unlock, which is my preferred and favorite method of phone unlocking. The absolute shock when it came to the display was definitely the brightness. Somehow, some way, POCO was able to push a maximum peak brightness of 4000 nits on the F6 Pro. Now, yes, this is in a small windowed area of the display when specific HDR content is being watched, but it's still impressive that they were able to implement this at this price point. Now look, if POCO had gone with all these features for the display and opted for maybe an LCD panel at this price point, I'd have actually been okay with it. Or even if they actually kept the OLED display and went with a 1080p resolution with a 90 or 120Hz even, I would have still been okay with it. But they've actually really impressed me. We're able to spec out the display to the top to not only match the ultra flagship phones, but also in some cases beat them while still keeping the price way below the asking of what you would expect. So yeah, when we talk about a true flagship killer for 2024, the POCO F6 Pro is definitely up there. Now that wraps up my top 3 favorite features on the POCO F6 Pro, and it definitely becomes a top contender for the best flagship killer phone for 2024. A massive thank you to AliExpress again for sponsoring this video and supplying the POCO F6 Pro for this showcase. Remember, their summer sale will be happening from the 17th to 23rd of June 2024 with access to thousands of unique products, fast global shipping to over 200 plus countries, and competitive pricing across all ranges. Plus, the bonus of using my unique discount codes to save you more money. So go ahead into the description, get shopping with AliExpress, and I'll catch you in the next one. Peace.